Good evening, you're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The Sultanate denies passing of any weapons through its lands to Yemen. The Omani-British Joint Work Group encourages development of trade partnership between Muscat and London. In its latest report, the International Monetary Fund expects a decline in the deficit of the Sultan's general budget despite the decrease in international oil prices. And the new vehicle insurance document includes new amendments in the foundation of insuring spare parts. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency President Jorge Carlos Fonseca of Cape Verde on him being re-elected as the President of the Republic for a second presidential term. In response to the news published by Reuters news agency about smuggling weapons to the Yemeni Republic through the Omani lands, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said that this piece of news is baseless and that the weapons pass through the lands of the Sultanate. The Foreign Ministry said that such matters have been already discussed with the Arab coalition. USA and UK refuted and found not to be true. Moreover, the Yemeni costs close to the Omani coast are not under control of any governmental authorities in the Yemeni Republic. Therefore, they may be used to weapons merchants. The existing friendship relation and constructive cooperation between the Sultanate and the United Kingdom in different aspects were the main topics discussed at the 10th meeting of the Omani-British Joint Work Group at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The meeting discussed the two countries' keenness to encourage development of trade and investment partnership and available investment projects. The two sides exchanged points of view in a number of current regional and international issues beside their endeavour to reach political solutions through dialogue and peaceful negotiations in order to achieve peace and security and understanding. The Omani side was presided over by His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Hamid Al Busaidi, Secretary General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and from the British side by His Excellency Tobias Elwood, Parliamentary Under-Secretary of the State for the Foreign and Commonwealth Office and Minister of the Middle East and Africa. His Excellency Yusuf bin Alawi bin Abdullah, Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs, met with His Excellency Tobias Elwood, Parliamentary Under-Secretary of the State for the Foreign and Commonwealth Office and Minister for Middle East and Africa, and discussed fields of cooperation between the two countries and matters of mutual concern and political and security developments in the region. The meeting also touched upon situations in the region and armed conflicts in some Arab countries, particularly in Yemen. The British guest praised the peaceful and humanitarian role played by the Sultanate towards achieving in Yemen. The meeting was attended by His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Hamid Al Busaidi, Secretary General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and His Excellency Jonathan Wilkes, UK Ambassador accredited to the Sultanate. The Royal Navy of Oman RNO celebrated the arrival of Al Nasser ship to join its fleet in a ceremony held under the patronage of Major General Amr bin Salim Al Amri, Commander of the Sultan Special Force, with the attendance of commanders of Sultan Armed Forces, military and security units, RNO's senior officers and personnel. The ceremony, which was held at Saeed bin Sultan Naval Base, began with playing the anthem of honor. Then the chief guest inspected the girds of honor. He also pinned long service and good conduct medals on some RNO personnel. The commander of the ship then invited the chief guest to board on the ship and was briefed on the ship, during which he viewed its facilities and divisions that were provided with latest advanced marine equipments. In its latest report, the International Monetary Fund expected a decline in deficit of general budget of the Sultanate despite the decrease in international oil prices. It also valued the Sultanate's efforts towards facing the current economic challenges, as well as procedures taken to reduce the volume of deficit in its general budget. The procedures included the reduction of governmental financial assets and issuance of domestic and foreign bonds, in addition to increasing the revenues and decreasing the general expenditure. The Sultanate also worked on getting loans from international markets, which lowered the pressure on local banks. According to the International Monetary Fund, these steps taken by the Sultanate will result in a decline of non-oil deficit by more than 10%. Discussing what has been achieved in terms of the media preparations for elections through various printed, audio and visual means topped the meeting of the Media Committee for the Municipal Council's second-term elections. The meeting also discussed the preparations of local and foreign media coverage for the elections. His Excellency Nasser bin Suleiman Al-Sibani, Deputy Chairman of the Public Authority for Radio and Television, head of the committee, headed the meeting. The Capital Market Authority issued the third edition of Vehicle Insurance document, including new amendments in the basic of ensuring spare parts. The Market Authority clarified that the fuel insurance covers natural disasters compulsory. The new amendments also allow the possibility to get monetary compensation due to consequential loss. They also allow the third-party insurance to choose additional privileges to cover expected dangers. The statistics pointed out that in 2015, the value of vehicles insurance compensations reached 114 million Omani Riyals compared to 105 million Riyals in 2014, achieving an average annual growth by 14.8%. The National Programme for Strengthening Economic Diversification, Tanfeedh, included its fifth week among wide participation of representatives of both public and private sectors to achieve vision of strengthening economic diversification. The program workshop were followed by Their Excellencies, members of the Supervision Committee of the program and heads of 5 sectors targeted in 9th five-year plan. It's worth mentioning that Tanfeedh program works on formulating work mechanism according to specific timetable in addition to indices measure performance, and it will be implemented by the beginning of next year.
There was a lot of involvement with the ministers and the undersecretaries since the last 5 weeks. A lot of pressures obviously to the participants in the labs. A lot of results have come up with the solutions, very good solutions, and these solutions are challenged. They're challenged very well, constructively by the ministers and the undersecretaries, and there's a lot of support from the undersecretaries and the ministers to see that these projects are actually moving forward. The 5 weeks have been very concentrated, and there's a lot of work that was being done. And today and yesterday was for us, the lab leaders, to go in to discuss with the ministers and undersecretaries the results of the 5 weeks and the solutions and the issues that we have within those 5 weeks, to see that these projects are actually supported by the undersecretaries and the ministers.
Still to come in our news bulletin. Nizwa Historical Fort witnesses a huge turnout by visitors from inside and outside the Sultanate. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. In order to keep up fitness of the affiliates of Royal Army of Oman, activities of the FAR annual marathon was concluded. It aimed to highlight sports skills and talents of the participants. The marathon distance was 21 kilometers and a new record was registered by Abdullah bin Sulaiman Al-Qurini, Lance Corporal from the Royal Army of Oman Parachute, who cut the distance in 1 hour and 12 minutes. The event was presided over by Lieutenant General Matar bin Salim Al-Balushi, Commander of Royal Army of Oman. The Cadet Officers Course at Sultan Qaboos Military College carried out the tactical exercise with live ammunition shell 21. The officers conducted the exercise according to the plan set by the different support weapons of the Royal Army of Oman and air support of the Royal Air Force of Oman. It reflected the extent of training efficiency at the military college, meant to train and qualify the officers in order to reach the highest level of experience and efficiency in practical and scientific fields. The activity was presided over by Major General Matar bin Salim Al-Balushi, Commander of Royal Army of Oman. The College of Technology in Ibra held a ceremony to mark the graduation of 595 male and female students, holders of diploma, higher diploma and bachelor degree, engineering, commerce and information technology majors. The graduates expressed their happiness for graduation after hard work and efforts they exerted during the years of study. Some of the graduates have already joined market, while others are waiting to have a chance to serve the country. A ceremony was organized by the Omani Women Association in the Wilaya of Duqm in the Governorate of Al-Wusta to celebrate the Omani Women's Day. It witnessed a wide participation from women in the society. The celebration included motivational speeches, poetic sessions, as well as visual presentations about successful women in different jobs. The event, which witnessed artistic performances by children, came to motivate women to exert further efforts for a bright and prosperous future, as well as for serving the country. Nizwa historical fort witnessed during the touristic season scores of visitors from inside and outside the Sultanate to view its potential civilizational and deep-rooted heritage and glorious concepts created by human on that era. The fort is surrounded by a number of touristic landmarks, namely traditional markets and old villages. The architecture of the fort, which showcases Omani human genius in building, provides information on heritage in both Arabic and English language. It is also distinguished by a huge round-shaped tower next to the tower of the fort entrance. The visitors also will find wall art pieces which narrate the history of the fort. Now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Clear skies will prevail over most of the governorate with chances of low clouds and fog early morning and late at night on the coast of the governorates of South Sharqiya and Worcester. Winds will be north to northeasterly light to moderate over the coast of Sea of Oman, while along the rest seas will be slight along the coast with a maximum wave height of 1.25 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Sultanate denies passing of any weapons through its land to Yemen. The Omani-British Joint Work Group encourages development of trade partnership between Muscat and London. In its latest reports, the International Monetary Fund expects a decline in the deficit of the Sultan's general budget despite the decrease in international oil prices. And the new vehicle insurance document includes new amendments in the basics of insuring spare parts. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the studios and the newsroom, it's good night.